Cam Live. It's pretty nifty. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the messenger changes coming in 2020. I'm going to just make that small over here. Okay, so the first thing to know is that the 24-hour plus one window is closing. And I think the 24-hour plus one window has confused people for a very long time, um, and so this really is it. So now that the window is closing, people are like, okay, now what did I have that now I don't have anymore? Wait, I want it back, that kind of thing. So basically, right now until January 15th, when all these changes are supposedly being made. The 24 plus one window basically means that you have 24 hours to send any kind of content to your subscribers plus one additional interaction. And that plus one additional interaction could happen at any time. It could happen 3 days later. It could happen 30 days later, so it was this kind of like undefined window. And so basically what Facebook is saying is that they're dropping the plus one, so now it's just a 24-hour window. And I stole this graphic from ManyChat because they did it so well, but basically what they're saying is, if it's within a 24 interaction moment or interaction window with a subscriber, then you can send any kind of content, non-promotional or promotional. If it's outside of that time, then either you have to re-engage with using other methods if you want to send promotional content, or if it's non-promotional, like you see here, then there are 4 different tags that you can use to like tag your broadcast or your message or part of your flow with. And I'll get into, I'm going to be talking about all these tags and show you different examples of how you use it in flows here in a minute. But basically that is what is the first and most important change. This change is basically kind of like a domino that is affecting all the other kind of campaigns that are going on. And for I will say for like non-Amazon customers, people in other kind of bot applications, like one of my very first bot clients ever was this massive pregnancy tracker software, or pregnancy tracker bot. And they have like hundreds of sequences and have hundreds of messages that are getting sent a day based on, like where a woman is in her pregnancy. And it's very complex and it's very cool. But this totally screws them. Really. And I've been trying to like work with them and figure out different things to do. But this alone is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So this is going away, but for Amazon sellers, this really isn't a massive deal. We've known that things like sending out promotional messages via the outside of the kind of like standard communication window is starting to rub people the wrong way. Uh, we're seeing a ton of messenger suspensions lately. I'm going to be talking about at the end about how to handle messenger suspensions. But this shouldn't be a surprise. Jocelyn, if the non-promo message does not apply with tags, we have to use SMS. Right, correct. So if you're wanting to send a message outside of the 24-hour window, your options are basically to send, and I'll talk about this in depth later on in the training, but your options are to send paid message, an email, a ManyChat email, or a ManyChat SMS, or you can re-engage with Facebook ads. That would be the most expensive option, quite frankly. But we'll get to that in a bit. Okay. All right. So let's talk about these new tags in the broadcast and the follow-up messages, what they are, how to understand how to use them and not use them. So the first tag is called confirmed event update. And if you got a ManyChat message from me this morning, I used this tag for the first time because basically it's saying, it's reminding people like, hey, you signed up for this event, or live, or if there's changes or things are going on specifically with the event, like you can use this tag to be super relevant to the people who engaged with your message. I didn't send this to my entire, subscriber base. I sent it only to those people who had requested to be reminded when I was going live. So what's disallowed is promotional content of any kind using this tag, including but not limited to deals, offers, coupons, discounts. Also content related to an event that the user has not signed up for. So you can't promote another event saying like, hey, hey, you signed up for this event, you would also like this one. However, this is saying outside of the 24-hour window. If you guys had signed up for the event yesterday and I was having another event next week, then I could say within 24-hour windows, like, hey, thanks so much for registering for my event yesterday. Hey, did you know I'm having another event next week? So like within the 24-hour window, you can send all sorts of like promotional or relevant content, but outside of that 24-hour window, unless you've re-engaged with me, then I can't send that using this tag. Okay. So messages related to past events. Sorry you couldn't make it, like to that other one. You also can't send prompts to any survey, poll, or review. And this is like a really common tactic with marketers or business owners to try to like mask re-engagement by asking people questions or feedback, that kind of a thing. And reviews is something that's really important that we'll talk about next. So post-purchase update is the tag that most Amazon sellers are going to be using in your flows. And I'm going to show you where you're going to be using those in your flows. And if you're already a member of my course, all of my templates are updated with this tag in the appropriate locations. So you don't have to worry about it. But if you have active flows, you will want to update those flows if you're planning on continuing to use them. So basically what this is a confirmation of transactions, such as invoices or receipts. So think of like if you just purchase something off of like a website, maybe not Amazon, but off a website, then you're going to receive an email saying, hey, thanks so much for your purchase. Here's the receipt of your order. So it's kind of like that similar experience. And then notifications of shipment status, it's in transit, it's shipped, it's delayed, that sort of thing. And then changes related to the order, credit card decline, back order, that sort of thing. And don't worry about, like, I'm going to have these slides available at the end of this. I'll have a QR code for you guys to scan where you can get the slides with all of this information. So if you're like worried about taking screenshots or anything, don't worry about it. I've got you on that. So disallowed promotional content, right? Anything outside of that 24-hour window, just because it has this tag doesn't mean that you can send promotional content. And that includes obviously deals, promotion, coupons, and discounts, messages that cross-sell or upsell products or services, or prompts to any survey, poll, or review. So it's really important that when you are requesting reviews as part of your flows, that you work in some messages about the actual shipment, about the actual order. And I'll show you an example of that in a second before you get into asking for a review. So if you have like a standard kind of promotional flow where you're providing them like a coupon or a rebate or something like that, and the majority of that flow is going to happen within a 24-hour window, right? You're giving them you're giving them a coupon code, you're sending them to a link, or maybe you're doing like a rebate interaction. After the fact, if you're asking for a review, usually that's going to be anywhere from 3 to 10 days later. So obviously outside of the 24-hour window. And so it's really important that your first message back is not asking for a review. Really crucial. So if you have flows right now that do that, that is not going to work, and you could get your account taken down. Okay. Account update. You know what? I have another slide here that goes into this a little bit more. Yep. I forgot to delete it off the other one. Okay, so account update basically is to notify the user of a non-recurring change to their application or account. Like, your application has been approved. It's kind of like a one-time message. It's not that recurring element is not part of that. So disallowed is promotional content, recurring content, like in the case of my beloved pregnancy bot. That's recurring content. So we can't use account update as a tag there. Once again, prompts to any survey, poll, or review is also disallowed. So human agent, this is currently in beta with Facebook, but ManyChat will automatically apply this to all live chat activities inside of ManyChat. And basically what this says, it is saying is that it will allow human agents to respond to user inquiries within a 7-day window after a user message. So let's say that yeah, like if somebody has like an issue with their order and you can't figure out their particular issue within like a 24-hour period, Facebook is giving you a full 7 days to get back to that person, um, and have that communication remain active. So what's not going to be allowed is any kind of automated messages, i.e. bots, right? Content unrelated to the user inquiry. So if somebody's messaging you about a coupon code, or wondering where their order is, then you can't then shift the conversation to start talking about your latest rebate or your latest promo. I don't know how they're going to watch that or view that, but it's just basically drawing a line in the sand and saying, "Hey, make your content relevant to what it's about. This is supposed to be a customer support experience, you know." Okay. All right. So I don't know why that slide is there. Okay. So here's an example of how messages show up if you're setting up a broadcast. And broadcast meaning like it's within, it's in or out of that 24-hour period. So if you're sending a message outside of the 24-hour promotional window, then it needs to have one of these tags: the post-purchase update, the confirm event update, or the account update. Anything below that, just disregard, because all of those other tags that have been accessible prior to now, or like now or prior to January 15th, are just going to go away. So you'll have those three tags to choose from. And for the most part, most of you are not going to be sending broadcasts via Messenger with one of these three, updates on them. Like I said, today I sent the confirmed event update to people who had opted in via ManyChat inside of one of my flows to get notified about this event. But that's pretty much like the only application. I think for most sellers, the post-purchase update tag is going to be part of like an overall flow, not an individual broadcast. So a question I get asked a lot is, how do I find people who I can actually send messages to? And if you go into your ManyChat account, if you go under the audience, go under audiences and then click on filter, and then you look under the messaging window segment. Currently, the follow-up eligible includes the +1 group. If you want to see, if you want to see like the most accurate of what it's going to look like in January, then look at like recent interaction less than 24-hour window. That is going to be what is going to be like the new normal come January. And I know a lot of you are just like, but don't worry. I'm going to talk about re-engagement, how you can still access your subscribers, and still accomplish your goals. So it just is. Okay, guys, it just is. This is the reality. Let's not wish for the back in the old days. Amazon isn't 2013. It's not 2013 in Amazon anymore, and it's not 2017 in Facebook Messenger anymore. We just have to keep moving forward. We have to be resilient, right? So, so let's be resilient. Hashtag resilient. Hashtag pivot. Okay. All right. So that means if you can't send a broadcast, then you're going to be sending paid messages. And I'm not going to get into in-depth training here on how to set up paid messages. I have those in YouTube videos. I have it in my course. And so Nathan's question is, which tag would I use to notify subscribers when an item is back in stock? Thank you, Sophia. Hashtag resilient. To notify subscribers when an item is back in stock, obviously only people who opted in. So I would tag those people, and then I would ask for their email address. And I would also tag them and then send them a pay. If it's within a 24-hour window, if you're doing kind of like a rebate tease kind of a thing. But if it's going to be like 10 days, 90 days, like if it's going to be outside that 24-hour window, which probably will be, then you're going to either send them an email or a paid message to access them. Because also via live chat, you're not going to be able to communicate with them individually either. So does that answer your question? That's how I would recommend handling that. Okay, so what do you guys need to do right now? Right now. Right now. Maybe not right now, but after we're done here, okay? So you need to go and you need to check existing delay timers and your sequences. So what do I mean by that? So within the 24-hour engagement window, you can still offer reminders like hey, we have this holiday offer going on. You sign up to get it. No, you can't schedule paid messages in a flow. You can't, not yet. Um, so offer reminders. You can do additional coupon offers, and you can do upsells and cross sells all within the 24-hour engagement window. So if somebody has opted in for an offer, maybe you're running a Facebook offer for one item, you can definitely hit them with another offer as well within that 24-hour engagement window. You can also do review requests within that 24-hour window. The reality is, though, that the majority of people are not going to right after an offer, you're going to be wanting a review. However, it's important to know that that engagement window doesn't have to just be offer based. And I'll show you what I mean in a second for that engagement window. So in most flows, like if you remember, if you have some of my flows or if you have anybody's flows, if there's any kind of smart delay that's going on, you want to see what the engagement, like what the timer there says. Is it like 2 days later? Is it 1 hour later? Is it less than 24 hours? If it's less than 24 hours, the following message, if it's promotional in nature, like reminding them to take advantage of an offer, reminding them to purchase a product, reminding them to use a coupon, which is most of my flows have that element to it, then this flow does not need a tag of any kind. It's good because it's within the 24-hour window, and it'll be sent, and it'll be fine. Okay. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how. Let me see. Let me see if I can figure out how to move myself. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that on this one. I will try to maybe I can move things around inside of the presentation, or I'll speak to I'm speaking to what they say. If you can't see, this says upsells and cross sells, and this says review requests right here. Man, I wish I could move that. I can see it. I can see it being a problem child, but I don't know how to move it. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Ramon. But I love you anyway. Okay. All right. So, outside the 24-hour engagement window, you will need to use a tag in the next message step. So, and this is where we talk about Facebook considers review requests to be promotional. Okay. Just like we saw in all of those tags and what's allowed and what's disallowed. So, for example, and you don't need to see what's down here, this is part of a flow, which is basically saying it's post purchase. The first half of the flow was doing the whole, the offer, the delivery of the offer, and it could be like a coupon based or rebate or whatever. But then you're going to have probably a delay timer that's significant before you ask for the review. And this is the part where you do need to add tags. So like I said, in my course, I'm going to be updating all these templates with this tag. But if you have current flows that you're using or going to be using between now and January, then you'll want to make these changes. And basically what you'll do is go into this flow. And what I recommend is having some content here that this first message basically is saying, hey, we wanted to check and see if you received your product. And technically this counts as a post-purchase update. We're not asking for a review here. We're making sure that the product was received, that the shipping status, like that kind of a thing. And I've double checked this with ManyChat. They say it's good to go. They say it's within terms of service. So that's why we're running with it. Okay. Notice here, I'm not saying anything about a review at this point. nor do I have like a link going anywhere. That was one thing that ManyChat said that Facebook Messenger's algorithm is looking for is like a significant delay, a tag being used, and then sending people immediately is having a flow with a link inside of it. They said to avoid that. So so here we just have buttons saying yes, they've received the product, or no, they haven't, and then the rest of the review follow-up sequence happens after that. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to edit this flow. Yes, Pete, this Facebook Live is just, I'm going to leave it up for a while, and I'll probably like run some Facebook ads to it, but you will have access to it. So you're going to come in here and you're going to click over here and click on post purchase update as the tag and apply that there. It's not a huge change. It's pretty quick, takes a couple seconds. But if there's any flows that you're using is kind of like your standard flows, then go in here and update these. But like I said, the new release of the course, this is all going to be built in there, ready for you to go. So you don't have to worry about it if you don't want to. If you're not running things between now and, I guess, January. Okay, so let's talk about how to make your campaigns, how to make your business messenger proof. And and this is not to say that I don't still love Messenger, but like any great tool where you are renting your subscribers from Facebook. That's just the reality. You're using their platform. And so I want to help you to be able to maximize your protection, I guess, for your business and your campaigns. So once again, if it's outside of the 24-hour engagement window, you can use Facebook ads. That's the most expensive option. Send paid or sponsored messages. Right now those are about 3 cents per subscriber to send. And then send emails through ManyChat. Those are 0.003 cents per subscriber to send. And then SMS, that's also pretty expensive right now. ManyChat is aware of that, and they're making changes and updates to their SMS platform. I'm part of a beta group that they have, so I'm aware of things that are coming, but I can't speak about them quite yet until they're public. But changes are being made to improve the SMS abilities. Okay, so one thing that I want to make sure that you're doing, and if you're using any of the templates in my course, then you're probably covered here. But anytime you run a Facebook ad campaign, what I refer to as a subscriber campaign, that you are capturing email addresses as part of that opt-in experience. That as soon as somebody comes in, you're saying, great, you're almost there, and what's the best email address to reach you at, kind of a thing. Use the language that's there. Obviously, I'm not even reading it. Just type or click your email below to finish getting entered, or whatever it is. So sorry guys, I'm so sick. So always be capturing and diversifying the information that you're capturing from people. I'm not going to go into depth on capturing SMS information. If you're going to be capturing people's phone number, I would build that into like a VIP club application experience because that would be the most likely reason people would, people are willing to give you their email all day long. It's kind of like expected, like here's my email, that type of a thing. The SMS is still something that's like, or their phone number is still something that's like sacred to them. So we kind of want to be careful in when we ask for it, just so we don't interrupt any kind of velocity experiences that we're wanting to accomplish via a subscriber campaign, like ranking Facebook ads or a rebate ad or any number of those things. So I'll be experimenting in my course with SMS before I roll it out to you guys, and then I'll have kind of like best practices measured out there. Yes and no, Jocelyn. Like when somebody opts in with their email address, like I know what you're saying, there's kind of like a question of like a double opt-in type of email experience. It's basically, there's kind of like two schools of thought. There's the are you sure follow-up email or follow-up message that gets sent saying like, hey, just FYI, we're going to be using this for marketing purposes. But there's also the school of thought of like, if they're giving you their email address, they're going to assume that, just like if they went through like a landing page type of experience. Right now, ManyChat does not require a double opt-in experience, so I am not enforcing that in my flows. Okay, so when you want to start using a broadcast, I recommend using, and here from like here on out, when I talk about broadcasts, I'm referring to either to email or messages going out within the 24-hour window. So let me show you an example of a flow where we're doing this. You guys still see my screen okay? This is like a new nifty thing that I have been experimenting with. It's super fun. Um okay. Actually, let me bring up one of my new templates. Okay, so in the new course update, you're basically getting a template version that is a subscriber version, like i.e. you're running Facebook ads to it, a paid message version, or like a broadcast version. So the broadcast version, so this is for like a ranking broadcast where you're offering coupons with a search, find, buy call to action. Yeah, okay. Just gotta make sure. Y'all see that okay? We'll zoom in. Okay, so the first step in a broadcast is that we're going to start with a condition, and the condition has kind of two elements to it. The first is checking to see if somebody is within the messaging window. The next is to see if the email has any value. If somebody's window is within, if somebody's within the messaging window, the message gets sent as normal. Now, like we said, a good portion of your list is probably not going to apply to. You know, like most sellers, you have kind of gaps in communication with your subscribers. You're not like, I don't know, like Bath and Body Works. I get 5 emails a day from those guys. They're in my like my spam folder. I'm like, I cannot handle you. Um, but most Amazon sellers, you have gaps in time in which we're running product launches or ranking campaigns or any number of communications, right? So the reality is that a good portion of your list is not going to be accessible via that messaging window segment. And so this is where it goes. It checks this first, and then if it doesn't have it, then it checks to see if you have an email address for people, and it sends that same content. It sends it as an email, and you will have to set up this email information. I'm trying to build these out to still kind of populate the email as a like with the template fields that are built into the flow itself, so you don't have to do so much heavy lifting, but you will need to, you know, build an email, right? So what's cool about this and what's different about having email integrated inside of a chat flow instead of using like, you know, like of course you could use email, like an email service provider like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or, you know, any number of those, or have like an external SMS service like Twilio. The problem with those is that they're all like broadcast all at the same time. It doesn't have this kind of like smart layering technology where you can build this in. So, Nathan, to your question about can a paid message be scheduled into a flow? No, it can't, but an email can. So, if it's outside of that window, and if somebody says, like, hey, I want to get notified when this product is available, then you say, great, what's the best email address to notify you at? What's the best or their best phone number to send like a notification message to. So if you capture that and then build into the flow as soon as the product is available, if it's outside of that window, then you can trigger an SMS or an email saying like, okay, it's available again, you know, that kind of a thing. But you know, I guess it depends on the campaign, if it's a legitimate out of stock or if it's like a marketing tease where you're trying to just like drive scarcity mentality and get people to purchase. Like you and I can talk if you have questions on how to set up that flow, then I'm happy to discuss it with you. But that would be an example of where you could build the email and the SMS follow up into the flow if it's outside of that 24-hour follow up window. Just make sure you have people's contact information. If you don't, ask them for it if they're really wanting the deal on the product. So this is an example of how you can build smart email and smart SMS campaigns into an experience to reopen that engagement window. Because as you see here, we're saying click below and we'll message you the deal. So they click there and it starts the flow. We're not sending them to a separate website, a separate landing page, anything like that. We're sending them back to Messenger right where we left off, right where anybody going through Messenger would have left off. And if that and the whole window opens back open again. Okay, Nathan, I was wondering if we can trigger a zap in the flow and Zapier can send the text or email. What's the advantage or disadvantage to that? I guess I don't understand the context of the campaign. Are you using this as like a true scarcity kind of play? Like is the product legitimately out of stock, or are you just saying I only want 10 units to be available per day? Can you answer me that? That's going to determine my answer. I don't think, like, I wouldn't overcomplicate it with using Zapier because it's already built in, unless you're wanting to trigger an external email service provider to use it. But I don't know why you would do that when you have that later. Later? I don't know what the context is. If you want to message me separately, Nathan, and kind of show me your flow and tell me your context, then maybe I can speak to it. But I'm not quite understanding the context to best guide you on that. But I probably wouldn't ever use Zapier to trigger an email or an SMS. Okay. All right, where were we? Okay, so any other questions on setting up email or SMS? I'm going to have like a ton of training in the course on how to set up email, and after I get kind of like more testing experience with SMS, show you that. But any other kind of like questions or concerns about when or how to use email in your campaigns? And take a drink while I'm. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to move on. If you have questions after the fact, or you're watching the replay, just do hashtag replay and then type your question just so I know kind of your context. All right. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay. Okay, so Ramon asks, I did a multi-channel broadcast flow using this condition and didn't go to email. It didn't go to the email branch. ManyChat support said it was because I used the wrong broadcast type. The users to send the flow are evaluated in the beginning and didn't include the email subs. Okay, so just make sure. So did you select the multiple channel broadcast, or did you start off with Messenger and just have a flow that included like the condition split? Sorry, I have all these follow-up questions. I have to understand what's going on. I guess my question is, which of these four did you originally select? So you selected multi-channel, but it still didn't go to the email branch? Then I would work with ManyChat on that to, because to me that sounds like a glitch in their system. It sounds like you set up the campaign correctly according to their stipulations. So I would get back. The users sent to the flow are evaluated in the beginning and didn't include email subs. So the question there is, if you have, did the people that you had tagged to send the campaign to, they might not have had, this might have been your issue. Oh, okay. I think I know, Ramon. Stick with me. So one of the things that you need to make sure is that just because you capture their email address, it might not be saved to the correct system field. And this is a new training that I put out, I don't know, a few weeks ago. But basically what you need to do is make sure that all the email addresses that you've been capturing previously have been captured in a custom field. And now they need to be saved to a system field. And in my new course, all of that is built out so you don't have to worry about it. All the new templates are built with this condition. But basically, if you want to try this, Ramon, and then retry it, go to email, and for anybody who has an email address as a custom field, and you just want to select any that it has any value, then you want to come. Oh, you do use system field. Okay, well, this is for anybody else. Everybody should do this anyway. Do this step anyway. I don't know what's going on then. That's just weird. I don't know. I would yell at ManyChat is what I would do. Because you're playing by their rules, man. All right, so go back. So everybody else, go to your custom field. Your email address has any value, and then do bulk actions and click down here and click on export custom to system field. And what you're going to do is go back to that kind of like where you're storing the email information. And then you want to save the email information to systems field, and then you're just going to click export. And that way, because to be able to send an email address, it's not just like an email address anywhere. It has to be saved to the system field inside of ManyChat to be able to leverage and access them. But Ramon, your questions got me stumped. I'll have to, if you can go back and ask ManyChat again, I would really appreciate it, and get back with me and let me know what you find out. Okay, so in the meantime, I like between now and when these changes kind of roll out, just like anytime, you're going to have dead weight in your ManyChat audience or your email list, or anytime you have, you're collecting people's information, whether it's your Facebook page or Instagram followers, that sort of thing. You're just going to have people who are hanging out, who are not interacting. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. So I recommend a polite purge of your audience. So what I would probably do first is send a message out before the 15th to your audience, and just basically saying, hey, we're going to be launching a bunch of we're excited for the new offers that we're going to be launching this next year, and we want to make sure that that you're part of our special launch group or VIP club or whatever you want to call it, and then send people through. If people click on your flow, then I would ask for that information. That is when I would ask for their contact information. In fact, I'm going to make you guys a flow so you can just do this and run this campaign. And then anybody who does not interact with it, you could just automatically unsubscribe them. You could just say, if have a tag, and if the condition is that tag doesn't exist, then those people get unsubscribed. Or if you don't want to do that, then what I would do is, I'll show you how. So once again, here under your audiences, come to conditions and your last interaction. So right here, last interaction. And I would do before, and I would probably do like 3 months. So then this will do September 1st. So probably about like a third of my audience needs to be like unsubscribed. And you can do that by coming over here to bulk actions and unsubscribe from bot. Right here. And they're not going to receive any kind of notification. They're not going to be like, why are you kicking me out? But you guys know you're paying for these subscribers. And in the case of like some of my sellers, they have, 50,000 subscribers, 75,000 subscribers. It's a little crazy. And I don't know what that's costing them per month in ManyChat. But when I did this activity with them, they were finding out that they were going to save, quite a bit per month by just getting rid of the dead weight. So that would be a good thing to do. I would probably start with the VIP club invite and capture people's additional contact information as part of that, and then do the purge after that. But this is also how you can do it if you're just like, I want to get rid of them now. Just come to last interaction, pick your timing, and then do unsubscribe from bot. Any questions on that? Okay. Is this valuable? Is this helpful? You guys How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Are we feeling like the sky is falling? The end is here. Bots are bots are going away. They're never going to go away. It's just Facebook is just making engagement more important and limiting what can be done and when it can be done on Messenger. But that's not to say that you can't still rank your products, you can't still launch. It's just giving you like a little bit tighter rules. And at the end of the day, um, it's protecting your subscribers so that they stay engaged when you do have content for them. You know, that you have that higher, that Messenger doesn't become just this spam inbox that people ignore like their email inboxes, right? So it's just one of those things where, um, we pivot. Thanks, Sophia. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what to do if you get suspended. I've gotten suspended. Happens to the best of us. And if you're doing well, this is the reality, guys. You know this, I know this, but you know this especially as being Amazon sellers. Oh my gosh, my girls love that show. Oh, this drives me crazy. All of their weird shows, but yeah, exactly. And the people who, like, quite frankly, the people who do just throw their hands up and give up, good. Then it makes it easier for all the rest of us to keep pushing forward and make a dent in our businesses. But you guys know, as Amazon sellers, that you have competitors that are gonna try to throw you under the bus with Amazon or hack you in some way. A lot of sellers, if you're doing really well on Amazon and your competitors are following you on Facebook or Messenger or whatever, they're going to mark your stuff as spam. They're going to like do their best to get you taken down. And that's happened to a lot of sellers lately. I feel like Amazon or Facebook's algorithm right now is sent to like ultra sensitive. And so if you're doing anything out of the normal, then you're going to get suspended. So one thing I want you guys to be aware of, and I talked about this earlier this week in a different video, is my goodness, where's my mouse? Is if you log into your ManyChat account, they do have this going on right now, that this kind of warning that will show you the messages that are currently like could be getting you in trouble come January, or just not get sent, basically. So if you have this messaging bar, definitely check it out. I leave it up there just so I can have these like for demonstration purposes. I've already shut these like sequences off. They're not currently active, so I'm not concerned about it. But basically, this is just saying like, hey, within this recorded period of time between November 28th and December 5th, we've had 3 flows that people have gone through where they were outside of the messaging window, the 24-hour messaging window. So like warning, warning. So I really appreciate this. That ManyChat is basically auditing your flows for you and helping you know what you need to do to fix them. So in this instance, they're saying like, hey, this message is being sent outside of the 24-hour window. You need to add a tag here. Does a tag apply? And if a tag doesn't apply, then you probably need to get rid of this message or shut down this sequence. And what I'm seeing, I talked to a seller a few days ago. She's a lovely person, but they were using a tactic where instead of sending their offers to their subscribers via broadcasting or paid messages, they had this like long sequence basically where they would just they had everybody added to a sequence, and then when they had another offer to send out, they just added another line item to a sequence and it would automatically send to anybody who was in that sequence. And that's just not good. That got them suspended. And B, like rolling forward, that's not even gonna be allowed to be sent, because there's any message is gonna have these tags on them, and none of those tags are gonna apply. And Messenger's not, like I said, Messenger's not dumb right now. They're such ultra sensitive. So the likelihood of getting suspended is high. Does that mean the world is over? No, of course. You guys have gotten suspended on Amazon, I'm sure, for something that you probably aren't even aware that you did. Or from a competitor like doing something weird on your listing. So here are the steps that you need to take. The first thing you need to do is appeal. And I'm just going to go back. I don't know why I'm going back and forth. And what I recommend, the first place that you're probably going to see that you're suspended is inside of your ManyChat account. You'll see up, like when you log into your dashboard, there'll be like a bright red bar up here. And it might even have a link on where to appeal. Or if you go to your Facebook page or you get a Facebook page notification, you'll see on the top of your Facebook page, business page, that either your page has been suspended or your messaging rights have been revoked for the page. Um, so it's important to, and I don't like using the appeal button that's on the Facebook page. It just goes into like the ether, goes nowhere. So what I like to do is go to facebook.com/business/help. And I do have a YouTube video and a training that I did just on suspensions. So you can check that out as well. But this is what I recommend doing is you can click on chat here and fill out this information. And basically, I don't even know why they have these old email addresses. Weird. But what I recommend is going to your Facebook page. You select the Facebook page that has the suspension associated with it, and then type in pages or select pages, no, and then other, and then I would say like messenger appeal. And then in the description, talk about like, hey, I'm not sure what happened. I'm really sorry. You guys know how to write appeals, your Amazon sellers. like, don't be testy with them. Don't accuse them of things. Just say like, I'm so sorry. And basically, what I'm seeing right now is that most people regain access to their pages within 1 to 3 weeks. And I know that's a long time, but that just means that you can't message people. You can still use ManyChat's email to, ManyChat to email and SMS those subscribers. So per the seller who got suspended, they were running rebate campaigns. And so right in the middle of and it was like a product tester flow where the rebate was contingent upon the review against terms of service, of course. But, they were running that kind of campaign. And so they had all of these product testers who were like, they couldn't reach, who needed their rebates, who were submitting their reviews and they couldn't reach. And so they were panicking. I'm like, no, you still have their email addresses, email them, and if you had their SMS information, heavens, you could like call them if you really wanted to. So that's the great thing about ManyChat is that ManyChat is not Messenger. You can still use the platform to accomplish what you need to accomplish. You can run your launch campaigns. You can run your ranking campaigns if you're in that tight kind of time frame and your page is suspended. Now, something not to do is to go and create a brand new page with your same admin information. I did this because I got suspended. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go create another page and start over, kind of a thing. I don't know how long this is going to take. Is this forever? Is this just for a moment? What we're finding for the most part, this is just for a moment. I have yet to meet somebody who's like permanently suspended. Okay. But if you go and create another Facebook page and another ManyChat account where you are the admin for the page that got suspended, they'll suspend that other page too. Facebook's not stupid. So if you have somebody on your team or you have a VA who can basically go and you have to create a new Facebook page. Only do this if you're like truly desperate, okay? But you can go and create a new Facebook business page, a new ManyChat account associated with that page, and you can run, like your Facebook ads. Obviously, you won't have any subscribers to work with, but you can run Facebook ads with that page. You personally, or whoever was the admin on the original suspended page, can't be the admin of the new page. Got that? Lessons learned from experience, my friends. Okay, so, all right. I got to wrap up here in a bit. So appeal, use ManyChat's email and SMS. Most pages regain access within 1 to 3 weeks. Fix your flows and check your sequences, kind of like what we've talked about before. And send promotions to your subscribers via paid messages, ManyChat email, and ManyChat SMS. Don't try to like skirt the system setting your promotional content using any of those tags. And I'm truly sorry that my video is like right in your way. That's so lame. But paid messages, ManyChat email, ManyChat SMS, that's what that says. Don't try to skirt the system using tags that don't work, because you'll get suspended, and that's going to cost you time and money in some circumstances. Okay. All right. So we've reached the end of the presentation. if you're already in my course, like I said, you're going to get access to all of the template updates. Everything is going to be updated for you. We're working on rolling those out here probably in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that. And then anybody who's doesn't currently have access to the course, feel free to scan this QR code and I'll send you information about the course and how you can purchase it. And then if anybody also wants to get access to the slides, you can scan this code and just wait after the information about the course is sent. It will also send you a message on downloading the slides as well. So any additional questions that I can answer for you guys? How are you feeling? Are you feeling like, okay, we can do this? Or are you feeling like this sucks and I'm never using a chatbot again? How are we feeling? We're feeling fine, as Michael Bublé would say. And I'm feeling good. Okay. So if there aren't any additional questions on the live, if there are on the replay, be sure to tag me in the comments. And I'm happy to answer any questions after the fact. If you have specific situations where you have flows you want me to take a look at, message me privately. I'm happy to do that for a short period of time. Usually I charge $200 an hour for private consulting. But if you do have questions, or you're freaked out and you just want me to take a quick look, maybe make me a loom.com video, giving me a tour of the situation, and I'll see what I can do. Awesome. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate you guys being on and helping me just know, like sometimes I'm a mom in a basement most of the time. Right? We're all like in our little individual worlds. And so it isn't until I'm like on a stage somewhere speaking or, at an event where I can see you in person and I can gauge how you guys are feeling about things. But I want you to know that we're staying on top of it for you. And I know that this is a big concern in the marketplace, and I'm doing my best to stay on top of it for you. So got your back. Got your back. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace and love. Share this. If you'll just click share, if you haven't shared this video yet, if you'll just share this so your other Amazon friends can see it and recommend it, or even tag people so that they know where they can get